goal-side lead over the Catalan Dragons. A moment of breathtaking brilliance, Steve-O.
Certainly was by this youngster, but I'm sure that Laurent Fresneau would have said at half-time, bit of a problem in regards to their defence. They really should have backed up. It was a good high kick there from Leon Price, but take nothing away from the individual brilliance from the young fullback.
Daniel Holdsworth is underneath the kick-off. Here come the black and whites again then, start of the second half. That's Liam Watts, and he gets to the 20-metre mark. And Richard Whiting, always impressed when we see Richard Whiting. 11 tries in all this year, 10 in Super League. Best season for Richard since 2005 this year. Their fourth consecutive playoff campaign, by the way. They did get to Old Trafford, remember, in 2006. Hull just one of 6 clubs to make it to the Theatre of Dreams, but they lost to St Helens by 26 points to 4. That's a long kick downfield, and Brent Webb will run this ball back. Let's go downstairs to join Bill Arthur again. I think he's got one of the young stars of this Hull side with him, Bill.
Yeah, Ben Crooks sitting way up here in the back of the stand. That try from Jamie Shaw was a bit special, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, that's something that Jamie can do. He can pull things out of that bag for us, and you know, he's wiring, he's quick, and he can finish tries like that out of nowhere.
It was out of context really with the rest of that first 40 minutes, wasn't it? It was a bit dour.
Yeah, you know, similar to last week's, yesterday's game. You know, conditions aren't really helping. We just need to keep on the ball a bit more.
And it's still very close. I mean, it's, you know, one mistake and it could get away from Hull.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we've got to try and cut down the little headers that we had in first half, and you know, pick his completion rate up. And I think if we do that, we won't go too far wrong.
If Hull get through this, you're going to be back?
Hopefully, yeah. We've got to see how it goes.
Thanks, Ben. Well done, and well done for coping with JP. It's doing his best to put you off.
Cheers.
Ben Crooks, one of the young stars of this season in the black and whites, and another of them there, Jamie Shaw, just allowing that kick to run dead, the right side of the upright. They're going to get head and feed.
Well, it really needed a little bit more of a dink into the in-goal area. You see, he just made it into the touch, doesn't put the scrum down, but he's having a fantastic game. It's always very difficult for any player in these conditions, especially playing in the full-back position, but a man with so little experience has just, well, he's burst onto the scene so well.
Well, took his chance exceptionally well, Mike, didn't he? It'd be very interesting for me to see if there's a change of tactics now from either coach from during that first half. For me, the Catalan Dragons in the first period were content just to fight behind the jab. Completion rate was good, field position was very good, but never really looked like they were going to threaten with a big knockout punch. Never really threatened the Hull FC line, in my opinion. A little bit of contradiction because they were adventurous in the build-up, but got to the back end and were very conservative in the kick. And if we think of the try that Jamie Shaw scored on the back of a completed set, an excellent kick and a very ordinary chase, because there was not a Catalan player anywhere near the fullback and actually never laid a finger on him. So that has to be addressed for mine as from the Catalan point of view. And Hull maybe simply more of the same. Keep completing, keep chasing, and when the ball pops up, make sure someone can go the full length of the field.
And Aaron Haramaya's kick goes dead in goal, so it's a restart on the 20-metre mark by Brent Webb of the Catalan Dragons. Referee happy with the position. And Vincent Duport here.
The sad part about it, Eddie, is that in these conditions, it normally comes about by an error, as Paul has just mentioned. It was not the best chase by the Catalan after an excellent kick by Leon Price. And it's just that one error, just one positional problem. Nice offload.
Indeed, from Elima to Fakir.
They've certainly got the power, Catalan, especially in the forwards, and they know they can get over the advantage line.
And here's one of the men who can do that, Zeb Teya.
This has got to be a high one, remember, Leon Price. If he puts a high one, they've got to follow it up. Well, get the numbers there.
Well, maybe, ooh, that's going to bounce everywhere. Oh, and that bounces back, and it's a knock on, it's play on. And it's 0 in the tackle count between them. Shaw and Crooks made a right porridge of that. Here come the Dragons now. Fakir trying to bustle his way to the line and going to make a A big impression from this Hull defence to keep them out. Ellimer to Bosk. Bosk then to Webb. Webb finds Whitehead. Good on his feet, Whitehead. Down he goes. Wants to play the ball. That could have been a penalty. The referee shouted to play the ball. He does now to Henderson. Henderson goes round in a complete 360. Loses a bit of meters forward. Then straightens it up. Good effort from Ian Henderson. He's another grand final winner, is Ian Henderson. 2005 with the Bulls. This is Lapini Paya. And solid defence so far from Hull, but scrambling defence, desperate defence. Can they keep the Catalan Dragons out for another 2 tackles? It's with Leon Price. Price then gets it to Bosk. He tries to slide it through. The referee says it was played at. Richard Whiting tidies up.
Not the best there. There really should have been a little bit more input. It looked as though they were a little bit confused there, not knowing what to do. Bosk really should have put himself a little bit deeper so he could get the kick away.
I think my point entirely, Mike, wasn't it? You know, it was a very, very good bomb that threatened the Hull possession, and the 2 Hull players simply didn't quite know who was going to go for it. It presented great opportunities for the Catalan Dragons. Good ball, good field position. They just didn't look that convincing that they were going to try and open them up. I think they're playing the long game. They're going to play and wait for mistakes to happen and try and capitalise on them. The gamble in that is that you might just wait a little bit too long.
Holdsworth with the kick. It bounces twice in front of Brent Webb, and the New Zealand international will bring the ball back. That's solid defence from Richard Horn and Danny Tickle. Draws applause from the crowd here at the KC Stadium. Zeb Taylor will take it forward, and I think Bill's got some Catalan news for us.
Yeah, Julian Busquets out for the rest of the game, out for the rest of the season if it goes much further for the Catalan Dragons. He's dislocated his shoulder, and he won't be reappearing. Remy Casti back in action and hoping for a big 40 minutes. He doesn't want it to be the last 40 minutes of his Catalan Dragons career. So he and Muniz are out there, and Catalan get the penalty.
And good
yes,
work
they do.
as
Not
well.
standing square.
Yeah, good quick play the ball that can catch you out. You can see quite clearly that Jeremiah made no attempt to put himself behind him. He's just on the right-hand side of Westerman. Lack of communication there. He's been around long enough, this fella. He knows what it's all about.
Well, the last hurrah for Remy Casti and Steve Menzies, perhaps, unless the Catalan Dragons can bring this game back from the brink. They're trading 6 points to 2. Fakir will take it forward into the 20-metre zone. Henderson's in at dummy half. He'll give it to Bosk, and Bosk will have a look and give it to Casti. Casti almost breaks the tackle. Whiting hands on to his ankles. Henderson scampers in again, 10 metres away. That's Bosk. This is Whitehead. And Whitehead sees the line, and Whitehead spinning, almost getting all the way there. And it takes 4 black jerseys to bring him down. Menzies waiting. Doesn't want to end his 20-year playing career in defeat here at Hull tonight. This is Muniz. Down he goes.
This is where Henderson, throw the dummy, go on your own.
No, he's giving it to Bosk, and Bosk will go on his own. Whiting on his back, Jeremiah around his ankles. Tickle calling for reinforcements on the line. Last tackle coming up here with Henderson. Gives it to Price. He gets it wide to Brent Webb. That was played out, and Brent Webb pulls
Should
it.
be a penalty.
It is a penalty.
He has it in his game, this fella, Brent Webb. If anything goes about him, he just loses control.
And Stuart, I don't wish to be churlish, but is this a professional foul?
Well, he certainly knows what he's doing, but there's a player right behind there that's picking the ball up and was covering. So, you know, it's a long way out to be thinking about putting someone in the sin bin, especially in a game like this, you know, with what's at stake tonight.
You know, Catalan have clearly been the better side since the half-time break. We've had almost 10 minutes of that. But they seem an inability to break through, don't they? Hull's line, especially when they're close to the try line, as Whiting again takes it forward downfield.
I think he's a tremendous player, Richard Whiting. I really do. I'm full of admiration for him. Miller and Shaw joins the line. They bring him down. That's Thomas Bosk over the top of him. Yeaman will have a run from dummy half Kirk Yeaman. He's 30, by the way. On Sunday is Kirk Yeaman.
And that's a good run by the centre as well, taking a lot of responsibility off the forwards. We keep mentioning it, but, you know, throughout this game, the whole forwards have had to work overtime. A lot more energy coming out of them. they could struggle in the final quarter.
Here goes Brent Webb now, trying to pierce this Hull defence. They have been impressive in defence, haven't they, Hull, tonight?
I kind of think, Eddie,
not really giving them too many opportunities.
No, I kind of think both sides can afford maybe to kick from the dummy half, because we've seen an awful lot of ricochets when they're kicking from the +1, whether it's the 6 or the 7 from either side. If you're going to get a completed set, get good field position, you really ought to be getting more out of your kick, at least through the line, at least challenging the fullback or the wingers to go back and get it. And both sides have been very, very guilty of turning the ball over very, very cheaply. Movement from the dummy half with the hookers kicking from either foot might start causing a few more problems.
Well, there's an example of just putting it through, and Thomas Boss to get in, but Boss has come up with a very poor kick. He knows it was far too strong.
Yes, it went over the dead ball line, so it's a tap restart on the 20. And Hull will be in no mood to take too many chances with this 4-point lead. It's been so tight. It's similar to the first half. The game started really, really tight, so compact, and then it opened up a bit, and we had a couple of chances.
To be fair, Eddie, I think the ball handling tonight has been sensational, considering what they're having to play in.
This is Whiting, gets a great offload away to Shaw. He flicks it wide to Richard Horne, who has lost that.
That's a knock-on. They don't need that. I was just about to say.
It was a floating pass, this. It allowed the Catalan Dragons to move forward.
They don't need to do it. Why play dry rugby league football when you're leading 6-2? It's the opposition that's got to do the catch-up.
See, that's a lob pass almost, isn't it?
It's a dangerous pass, and it's a silly one. They'll get no pats on the back from their coach, Peter Gentle.
Well, the Catalan Dragons have got Pelissier on the field as well as Ian Henderson. So the last thing that you want to be doing at the moment is giving them the ball, because Henderson will probably switch into that loose forward middle channel position. And Pelissier, as we know, is exceptionally quick and agile and skillful from the dummy half. Brent Webb at fullback. Those players there can really cause you problems in the middle of the field.
This is Remy Castille. Tomorrow, don't forget, a double-header, fantastic double-header on Sky Sports 3 for you. Repeat of the grand final at 2:30, Warrington Leeds, and at 5, Saints and Hull Kingston Rovers. Like here, it's elimination time. For someone, the season will be over. Saints coming from 5th position this year. Nice drop of the shoulder there from Thomas Bosch. Quick play, the ball was needed, and he got one. Here is Brent Webb.
Great work from Ellis. Not only did he do the tackle previous, but he made sure that the fullback had nowhere to go. Is this going to be a dink into the corner? It is.
By Menzies, and Jamie Shaw taking no chances.
Experience showing there. Menzies playing out in the right-hand centre position. Neat little dink. Knew the fullback had to be there. He was. Is this going to be the final throw of the dice for this man?
Over 500 games for Steve Menzies in a 20-year career. 5 NRL Grand Final wins with Manly. The last of his 150 odd tries for Manly came in the 40-0 Grand Final win in 2008.
A legend, that is for sure. And he's, it wouldn't surprise me if he comes up with something extraordinary tonight.
Well, he was freakish in his ability to find a try, get on the end of a player and just put the ball down. Can he get on the end of something here from Pelissier?
He's a live wire, is this Pelissier.
He's got plenty of speed as well.
He gets up to his feet, plays the ball to Webb. He finds Price. Now it's with Bosch. Here comes Muniz. And again, this Hull defence, this swarming, scrambling Hull defence keeps them out. We're at the 4th tackle. 5th tackle coming up in this set of 6. And it's with Leon Price, who drops it off to Webb. Webb looks for the runner. It was Duport. And once again, it was Richard Horne who got a telling tackle in. Here is Price. He slides the kick in. Just too long. Was it too long, or is it a goal line dropout? I think
Shaw took it out.
Taylor needs to have a look at it via the eyes of Ian Smith.
I think Shaw knocks this out, and he had to be as well. Great little grubber kick through by Leon Price. Yep.
If his foot had been down, that would have been out.
It would have been down, yeah. If his foot had been down, he'd have been out of play, as we saw last night. But his foot was just up in the air. He probably got in a position where if he put his foot down, he would have got the 20-metre restart.
That's what the referee was saying, and good position there by Taylor, but obviously Catalan realised that it's got to be the kick into the in-goal area that could bring them their rewards, because this whole defence has been magnificent, hasn't it? Just time and time again.
The rain continues to pelt down at the KC Stadium. It's 6 points to 2 in the black and white's favour. One moment of brilliance in the first half from Jamie Shaw, the fullback, the young fullback, as Pellissier feeds it to Teya. Teya then to Webb, who took it one-handed, and Webb spun to the ground by Horn again by the shirt tails. Here they come. Here they come, and once again testing this line. That's Zeb Teya. Pellissier, it's a penalty for messing about and offside.
Oh, this is real pressure. One drive. Presinu realises this is a golden opportunity.
Oh, they're going to go for goal. How about this?
Do you think this is a legacy of what happened last week? They're so scarred by the fact that they didn't kick kickable penalties earlier in the game, but when it came down to a late penalty kick, it cost them a home appearance in the playoffs.
Yeah, there was a bit too much pressure on Scott Giroux, wasn't there? But you're so close to the line in a game called Rugby League. We don't win games in Rugby League by kicking goals, generally. But I know what you're saying, Phil, that they will be remembering what happened last week. This is similar to the one Giroux had, isn't it? Very similar position. The scoreboard maybe plays a bit of a part in this as well. They're behind. Now then, Thomas Bosk. This is a big kick for him if they've taken the decision which they have to get the 2 points if they can, and get the 2 points they do. So 6-4.
Well, tactically, I think it's crystal clear that the Catalan Dragons are going to take every available opportunity to kick the penalty conversions and get some points on the board. Whether Hull FC can gain an awful lot of confidence from that, only time will tell, or whether the Catalan Dragons have absolutely the right tactics. I think Hull are beginning to feel that they can defend anything that the Catalan Dragons will throw at them.
Well, they're also probably aware as well, if they can kick another goal, that we will have the golden point, of course.
Hold it, lads, hold it, hold! Good.
Never been known in playoff football before, and we talked about that a little bit last night as well, and it seemed to spur Wigan on to what they did in that second half, and Leon Price is starting to look a little bit busy and a little bit dangerous.
Well, the possession was a bit lopsided.
Jeremiah has just lost the plot.
Well, there's something going on away and to the right-hand side of the ball.
Pellissier, he's accusing Pellissier of
stamping on his foot, I think.
Or is he using the head? I don't know.
Yeah, there's Pellissier there. He stood on Jeremiah's ankle, you see.
Well, did he do it deliberate? I don't know.
Well, unless there's a speed bump out there, he must know that he stood on the foot of the Hull player.
Well, has Pellissier thrown any punches? Has he done any damage, bar from reacting to having the back of his ankle stood on?
There's a possibility that he stood on him in the tackle, but I can't tell if that's
I dare say Pellissier is about 14, 15 stone, and he stood on the back of his Achilles, back of his ankle, so we'll have felt that.
Well, Jeremiah took exception. Stuart, you've heard the referee and the touch judge having a chat. What would you do in this situation?
Well, I think you've got to go with the penalty against Pellissier. He clearly knows he's standing on his heel. He's trying to trap Jeremiah in and perhaps hold him into the tackle to get the penalty. So, you know, it's a silly play. They're in a good position, and the penalty should go against Catalan.
Listen to me, please. The touch has got a side in view, pal.
Well, there's a big gamble, though, wasn't it,
from not deliberate, it is a penalty to hold. You cannot do that. You can't step. So be considered. You cannot step. Okay?
Remy Casti is acting as the translator to Elwar Pellissier, and Hull get the penalty.
Surely they'll go for the 2.
That's an absolute game changer. The momentum now swings for 16.5 minutes. The French team have had the majority of possession. They've been charging downfield, looking like the team who are going to score next. And with an issue of ill discipline there now, the game's turned completely here. Danny Tickle gets possession and can extend their lead.
You have to say he knew that he was standing on something, don't you?
Without a shadow of a doubt, you know.
They're not like when you played, Paul, with the big leather studs and the big leather soles, are they? Well, they're like slippers, these boots now.
When we played, that would have been par for the course, but the game has moved on. You know, it's a very sterile and professional game these days because. The work done by my colleague Stuart Cummins, that you can't get away with things like that, certainly not live on television.
Excuse me, Paul, leather studs.
Well, yeah.
About 1922.
When you were playing.
I think, the last 4 or 5 games of the season when we're into the playoffs are never going to be refereed like the first 4 or 5 games of the season, where I'm sure Stuart will confirm the referees are on the ball, looking to stamp them out, making sure that all the rules are being covered and the players are going to play by the rules and the spirit of the game.
And if you don't, you concede 2 points because Danny Tickle can kick a goal from anywhere. It's 8-4. I wonder whether, when you look back on this, whether it is a game changer.
I think this kick should be actually disallowed. Here we're going to see the incident again, but in a minute, when a player takes a kick at goal, you can see him stood on his ankle there. He has to be behind the man who kicks the ball when he kicks it. And I think when we get a chance to see this again, maybe later, Stuart, we see that Danny Houghton, the Hull player, is in front of the ball when it's kicked.
He is. He's in an offside position, clearly, Stuart.
He's well in front. Well in front. That goal should have been disallowed.
Well, controversy reigns in the playoffs, Super League 2013.
If that ball had hit the post and bounced back, we could have had a Cardiff rerun, couldn't we?
Yeah, just a minute.
Yeah, just give Stuart the smelling salts at the memories of that. Well, they're lucky to get away with it.
But Eddie, the point I was making just before the kick went between the sticks is that for the referee, who's not going to miss much tonight, for him to be blowing his whistle in the playoffs, you've got to be taking liberties, and that was a ridiculous penalty to give away on behalf of the Catalan Dragons.
He's now going to check whether Damien Blanche got a touch on this.
Yeah, he did right as well, because he was a long way away, was Ben Taylor. It was just before that, actually.
Yeah, that bit's okay.
That's all right. It's whether earlier, as the ball came to him, whether he actually touched it.
It's here. Did he?
Ooh, now then.
Well, if he touched it, he'd have picked the ball up in goal.
You'd have thought he would have known he would have to pick it up.
Well, a lot of people would have said that forward.
Yeah. Well, he did touch it.
He's touched that ball with his foot and then gone back to knock it in goal. You know, in my opinion, that clearly touched his foot. When we're talking about players using common sense, whether Blanche has used common sense there or Policier did on the earliest play, I'm not quite sure we can rely on that.
Stuart, do you want a final word on that?
I didn't think he touched it.
Okay.
Might be my eyes.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time they've said that about you.
Here's Policier running behind Leon Price then.
He's getting the bird from the Hull fans, not surprisingly. Hull have to just calm down slightly.
That's almost a beautiful kick.
Yeah.
Almost a beautiful kick.
And he knows Thomas Bosk. He knows it, Eddie, as well. It's this is the time now where the black and whites have just got get their composure. Look how close that was. And not get sucked into a bit of an arm wrestle and start to throw a few punches.
This is the time here now where we find out just how much Hull want it. They've had to make almost 100 tackles more than their opponents. That drains you. Obviously, it's harder to defend than it is to attack in rugby league, and anybody who's ever played would tell you that. But Hull now need to forget what's happened in the last 60 minutes and the fact they have had to work so hard in defence here because they're still in this contest. But their opponents have made far more metres because the French have had far more possession. But with Briscoe and Shaw, players like that, they've still got some potential game winners.
Great run from the hooker, Houghton. There's a player down in back play for Catalan. They're down at 12.
Yes, they are. It's Gregory Muniz as Daniel Holsworth drops that ball into the in-goal area, and Frederick Vackery is able to allow it to go dead in goal. Yes, Gregory Muniz has got a problem here. He got himself in all sorts of strife from the attempted tackle on Danny Tickle.
Couldn't get his head to one side and got caught right into the midriff of Tickle.
Looks like he's having to take a breather as well. He's coming off. So it isn't getting easier for the Catalan Dragons as we enter the final quarter of this match.
They'll be glad of the experience then of Frederick Vakri on the left wing. Plenty of opportunity for him to panic there and knock the ball dead. He didn't. He was confident and he just let the ball go.
Invention there from Leon Price, and brilliance once again in defence from the young man Jamie Shaw.
How calm was he there? It was good work there by Leon Price. That looked tight from Taya.
Well, and that's a penalty.
Well, I was just saying that Hull can't afford. They've got to keep themselves calm, and this is not what they want. Peter Gentle will get the message out. Don't get involved, fellas. We're the team leading. 8-4. Remember, look at the scoreboard.
Zebtair got a little bit heated. I think it was Jason Crooks. And then there's this push and shove, and then Crooks got the penalty, said something, laughed at him, and Zebtair took exception.
Wouldn't let it lie, would they? But this was sensational stuff from Leon Price. That was Price of old, taking an opportunity, but once again, what a night this fella's having, Jamie Shaw.
Well, Leon wants to get back to a grand final. I'm just having a look as well at the players in black and white. Gareth Ellis is really trying to raise and rally the troops here tonight. He's all over the place. He's being vocal, he's shooting back into the line after tackles have been made. Here he is hitting the ball on the charge.
Good tackle by Menzies as well. What great servants those two 11s have been to our game. Good opportunity now. Oh, did well, Briscoe. Looks like there was a collision with Menzies.
Menzies and Yeeman collided with each other, and I think it's a penalty to the Catalan Dragons here.
Wait there. No, he's gone straight through and taken Steve Menzies clean out.
I don't think it didn't appear to be anything intentional there.
Well, I think it's a head clash, but he's on the line that Steve Menzies is trying to come across. So, you know, he's ahead of the ball, so the obstruction is correct. I don't think there's anything malicious in it. It's just a head clash in it, but it's a definite obstruction.
So it's a penalty to the Catalan Dragons. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, yeah.
I think that's what Ben Thaler's saying as well.
Yep. And this will be 35 metres upfield, which will be a great relief for the visitors. They've still got the power out there, and they've also got the skill factor. We've just seen a glimpse of that from Leon Price. Thomas Bosk is he's capable of pulling something out, but you've got to get the impression with this whole defence that it's going to be a little chip over the top, something different.
Well, this is a very important set for mine for the Catalan Dragons. We're past the hour. They're going to get good field position. Their end of set plays will kind of tell us what their mindset is. Will they look to push, look to go for the knockout punch, or will they play behind a conservative kick game yet again?
Price and Webb gets it away to Whitehead. They've kept a very close watch on Elliot Whitehead. Referee shouts, tackle held. He plays the ball to Henderson. Here is Brent Webb again. Floats the pass to Damien Blanche. Blanche with a kick over the top, looking for Thomas Bosk. And Shaw again.
Did the right thing. Hunting him down was Thomas Bosk.
You know what, if Steve Bruce is watching this game, Eddie, I think he might look for Shaw's number here, because he's covering defence today. Wherever the ball's been kicked, he'd be great protection in front of the goalkeeper for Hull City.
It was not a bad option either from Damien Blanche. But the positional play from this youngster, he is so confident. That's what I like about him. And Peter Gentle, he knows what a talent he has.
Well, there's some encouraging signs there for the Catalan Dragons. Once Brent Webb injected himself into the line and put the ball away to Damien Blanche, that kick across just looked like they were looking to be sharp and adventurous. Let's see now whether they can back that up with either yet again another set. Goodness me, the ball's got on the floor, which really does psychologically swing into the favour of Hull FC.
What a hit from Richard Whiting. Sometimes it's not the start of the show that comes up with the defence. The hit there was sufficient. One of the best utility players around.
And the 2005 Young Player of the Year. Richard Whiting, a former England international. But very impressive for Hull every time he pulls the jersey on, I think. Briscoe now.
Look how strong he is. 4 men have tried to put him to the ground, and at the very end, they just about achieve it.
Here comes Joe Westerman again.
Important position now for Danny Houghton to control things, and that was good play. Switch to the short line side.
Yes, to Chris Green, who will get to his feet and play it to Houghton, and Houghton will kick from dummy half. It's a great kick too. It's a great kick this, and Jason Crooks is after it. Brent Webb picks it up. Look at the chase. Whiting again with Tickle.
Fantastic. You could see as soon as Danny Houghton kicked that.
Well, here at that angle, that looked forward.
Certainly did. But I must say, Danny Houghton's kick, you could see how the ball, and he got the backspin in it. Oh, it was a mile forward. Or kilometre.
A metre will do. Pellissier takes that tackle. Bosk, Webb, and here comes Whitehead again. Miller's all over him.
Got to be careful, Hull. Jamie Shaw has had a great game, but you can see he's put himself really deep.
Well, he and Jason Crooks for this kick, which will go Crooks' way. And he came for that, and he took it on the fall, and here we go.
That's great. To be able to return that ball nearly to the halfway line. Look, that's it. And in the opposition half, this is how you control the game.
It's a tough game, this, isn't it? It really is. It's a grinder. Whoever wins it's going to have to grind it out. Big hit by Ellimer.
Well, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Evander Holyfield, is here as a guest of Hull watching this game, and I guess he's had to survive some tough events where he's been on the ropes for a period of time. Hull have had that experience here tonight, but as we go into the final quarter, look, there's an energy, a zip, a zest about Miller as he goes through the line.
Miller was brilliant on his feet. He was the creator. Ellis, who has been bouncing around all through this second half, he was in support. And Gareth Ellis, the man who won grand finals with Leeds 2007, 2008, before he disappeared to the NRL, has possibly given Hull a place in next week's match.
It was good work from Jacob Miller, but it was not the best defensive effort. They went far too high. Henderson and Thomas Bosk, and the man that always has the knack of putting himself in the best position. Henderson missed him, so did Bosk. Good support play. This is how he made his name. And maybe they can start thinking that this is not the end of the road tonight. They will go on to next weekend.
Sorry, Stephen, that's his first try in Super League. He got a try in the cup run against Wakefield, but that is first in Super League this year. What a time to score it.
So important, isn't he? And he's a great leader. You can see him there. Do not relax. We must keep up this tension. The pressure has to be on, but he knows. He's been around. He's played in Australia. He knows all about the big games, and Ellis would have said, surely this man will have the extra 2 points, and that should be sufficient. But you never know. Catalan, they are the side that have become famous for great fight backs.
Yes, remember St Helens last season. They will never forget that night. Danny Tickle gives them a 10-point advantage. But it was never going to be 36-34, was it? Playoff football rarely is like that. This has been something they've had to really drag from the bottom of their reserves of strength.
Yeah, and it was good work by Jacob Miller. He's excited and every right to feel excited.
There was a knock-on by Danny Houghton. Short kick-off, and Catalan Dragons race to the scrum. They're not finished yet.
No, there's plenty of time. Plenty of time on the clock. You could see they knocked it back deliberate, but Danny Houghton, normally one of the safest pair of hands in Super League. Knock on, no doubt.
Let's just remind everybody that the two teams here tonight are playing for the right to go forward. And unless Hulkinson Rovers come up with a breathtaking performance at St Helens, it would be these two, either of these two, at Huddersfield next week. And I think that's probably going to be Thursday. All still to be confirmed by the Rugby League, of course. But it's Huddersfield, we think, for either of these two next week, the league leaders. What's that about from Oliver Ellimer?
Well, I think he was pushed over. He was interfered by Danny Tickle coming
the invisible man.
Danny Tickle comes around the side of him.
Yeah, OK, there. I'll take that. That's a push, is it?
Round the side. He's keeping it in space.
Academy Award
contact, but intense there. We've got to move away. Let's keep
goes to
H.G. Wells wrote the script for this there, didn't he?
Now run the penalty, Ray. I do not need you to kick it around.
I tell you
He
what,
wrote the invisible man, didn't he?
we've turned the clock back tonight. You're making me feel ancient.
Well, goodness me, Mike, if the Catalan Dragons are going to come back and get some points and actually win this game, they've got to change the tactics. I'll be staggered if they now get to the back end of this set and lamely just drop the ball in the in goal. They've got to come up with some knockout punches. Hull have gained confidence every time the Catalan Dragons have simply given the ball back in this field position.
This is Rapini Paya, though. And now it's with Ian Henderson. And Henderson gives it to Price. And Price to Bosk. A good tackle by Holdsworth, it needed to be. Bosk was on his way to the line. Henderson again. Leon Price slides the kick through. Whiting! Richard Whiting again.
I think Hull knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Someone is going to get hold of the ball from the Catalan Dragons and lay a kick towards the in goal. They've done it all night and it's not worked for them so far.
Well, that was incredible. It was like a slip catch. It was travelling at speed as well. And Richard Whiting, he's given it all, but I'm sure that Peter Gentle will realise that yet again, the black and whites tonight, it's been their defence that has been the key factor. That's a good kick. No, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Right down the throat there of Damien Blanche. But they've got the numbers. Good chase.
Well, if Hull do end up going to Huddersfield next week, the Giants will remember that they're on a mission, because this time last year the Giants went out of the playoffs on this ground. They have a score to settle. Can anyone win this competition from sixth? We thought fifth was impossible. Can sixth or seventh or eighth? Can they win it? They're all in it to win it.
Chip over the top. They've got to do something different, because they're not prizing open this whole defence.
Now this gets a grip on Thomas Bosk's shoulder. Ian Henderson. Webb. It's not so much as a chip as a punt. And this will surely run... Oh, I was going to say surely run dead. It won't.
Well, that's good work. Crowd didn't like it, but there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Zebtair charging up downfield. Jason Crooks, there's nobody at home in dummy half. There's a penalty to Hull.
He knows they got a little bit excited. Shaking the head. Not happy.
Well, they thought he walked off the mark. That's why he said there was no mark. Is that right, Stuart?
I think so. Remy Cassie's got himself in position, and Jason Crooks has walked ahead of the mark, and that's what stuffed everything up.
So should that have been a penalty to Catalan?
Well, Crooks has moved off the mark, so you'd think so, yes.
But Cassidy stood on the mark, so what's he supposed to do? Play it where he's standing?
Well, he has to stand up and play it where he's tackled.
But the point is, if he stood on the mark, what is he supposed to do then, the man who's supposed to play the ball?
Well, you get a lot of this in the game now, where players are getting up and pushing against each other, and that's the result.
We've got 7.5 minutes left for play. Danny Tickle will bring the ball forward. It has been a war of attrition, this.
Yeah, and this is where hard graft comes into it. That's good work. That is tremendous work. They know exactly what it's all about. Johnson takes it through. It's up the jumper time and the kick game now. Oh, that looked forward.
The delayed pass, and it is agreed by the touch judge this side, and by Ben Thaler it was forward.
And they don't need it.
It's an example, though, of the fact that Hull aren't really a great attacking side. I mean, they've won this game, and because they can defend, probably one of the best teams in the top 8 at defending. but I don't know whether they can win any more playoff games, because what they've done tonight is a phenomenal achievement to hold out the Catalan Dragons, but they're going to play against some teams who've got far more to offer in attack than what the Dragons have tonight. Hull need to rapidly improve their attack, and examples like that are typical of what they need to be able to do better if they want to win this competition.
I think Hull, Phil, have grown in confidence, and I think you're quite right. Every time Catalan Dragons have had good ball and good field position, they've almost turned the ball over exceptionally cheaply. And we want to avoid the push and shove and the nonsense that happened on the previous penalty and the play the ball, is that Catalan Dragons have to come up with a play at the back end of the sets that they can actually challenge on, and simply, as opposed to simply giving the ball away.
Well, he's bringing it back. It was good work there to drop on the ball. Now then, surely Peter Gentle has got that message out and say, no more silly passes, concentrate. He knows he's got the experience there, Danny Howe.
Johnson gets the ball away to Houghton. Here comes Joe Westerman.
Good run.
Olivier Elmer was
Henderson's
just
a problem.
Doing enough then to delay the play of the ball. Henderson is a problem.
Yeah. He lifted the arm straight away, and I think that is a real problem with it. I think it's the left leg. He knows it. When a player goes down like that and does not start writhing around and hitting the ground, you know that it's an injury that could be very serious. But he's a tough hombre, this fella.
It looks like a twisted ankle, because he's limping to the sideline as you watch how it all came about.
Yeah, raise of the arm, I'm in trouble.
Well, the man who's trying to stop, I think, has been one of Hull's best. I know Jamie Shaw's been pretty impressive, and that try was remarkable in the first half. But Joe Westerman, Danny Houghton in the forwards have been good. I mean, I was disappointed in Westerman when he played at Wembley. But boy, he's been good tonight, and I think he's determined to show his teammates, his supporters, probably everybody else who watches rugby league, that he is a good player.
Again, getting a little bit excited. Calm down, fellas. Miller.
Well, a try here, you know. There's still over 5 minutes to go. It'll be a real finish, this.
You can score 2 tries in 5 minutes. We've seen it many, many times before.
Especially from Catalan.
Oh, absolutely, Mike. They've just got to come up with something at the back end of the sets that's actually going to threaten the Hull FC defence.
Well, can they produce something here? Leon Price drops it off to Elmer. He must be feeling the pinch, Olivier Elmer. He missed last week, but he did play 3 in a row before that. Here's Whitehead. Every time Whitehead's had the ball, he's been surrounded by 4 black jerseys. Yeah, there's another one that was marching off the mark. Elmer again. Casting will be desperate not to lose this match. Pellissier in there, a dummy half. Bosk slides the kick in. Lapini Paya, but Jamie Shaw says, let's get out of here.
Yeah, calm and collected, wasn't he, this fella? You can see that it was just slowing up in the wet conditions.
There's been so much pressure from the Catalan Dragons, but there hasn't been a cutting edge.
No.
Has there? They've not got through this defence.
Well, if you look at that kick and chase, you know, probably the biggest and arguably the slowest Catalan player on the field, with all due respect, was chasing the ball in the in goal. It wasn't a designated play to bring your fullback or your wingers into action that's going to threaten the Hull FC line. For Catalan to score there, someone's got to fall over and slip in the in goal.
That's a brilliant take by Blanche.
Was it ever, if ever they had an opportunity, but they've got to start playing this ball quickly.
Whiting has run his blood to water tonight.
He's had a brilliant game.
Off the bench, and he's been tremendous. Fakir. Pellissier, centre field, running left, short ball, Paya. Paya goes down, Pellissier looking at the options left and right, goes left with Price, further left with Taya, gets the ball away to Pellissier. Danger here for the black and whites.
Let's play on.
Fakir has put the ball down, the ball went backwards.
Goes solo, Pellissier. He's got the speed.
And Webb. Well, he just delayed the pass. There were 2 men rushing past him, Menzies and Taya. Will play it to Taya. Here is Paya. Paya over the top, and Briscoe gets a foot to it.
Oh, they're going to get the head and feed at the scrum. You can see Catalan, they're rushing to form the scrum as quickly as possible. They've got it there. Ben Taylor stopped the clock.
Got a clean boot on that. He's away, is Briscoe. Look at the time, 76 3/4 minutes. That's the enemy for the Catalan Dragons as much as Hull themselves.
It's got to be a planned move from the base of the scrum.
Be a big win for Peter Gentle this, you know. They've only won 4 games from 15 at this level before.
There's Danny Houghton just telling everybody, just come on. We've got to defend, keep it going. What a night for this fella.
I don't think the Lord likes playoffs. It's teamed all night last night. It's teamed all night tonight. Let's hope for a little bit better in Warrington and St Helens tomorrow. Bosk with the kick through. Shaw again.
Well, in terms of field position, in terms of possession, this should be an absolute landslide knockout on behalf of the Catalan Dragons. But Hull FC are simply taking blow after blow. It's like a sponge. They're just soaking up these plays that aren't generally threatening their line.
But this defence that Hull are showing tonight has been a feature of their play all year.
It certainly has, and sometimes I've often suggested that perhaps, especially in the first half, their defence, that's all they seemed they wanted to do, and lacked that ability to crack open the other defence to score plenty of tries. But I must say that there's been some heroes out there tonight.
10 goal line dropouts tonight, 12 last night. It's the playoff goal line dropout-a-thon.
Yeah, and Jamie Shaw's had a big game. You've got to say that Danny Houghton has given his best. But that Richard Whiting, what a substitution.
Lopini Paya tries to burrow underneath Daniel Holdsworth. Teya gives it to Bosk again. He drops it off to Price. Price to Whitehead. Whitehead switches the ball from left to right. Scrambling defence again.
Been a great battle, hasn't it, with Whitehead against Kirk Newman.
Here's Menzies! Here's Menzies!
It's got it down! It's got to be nail-biting!
Or did he drop it?
No, he got it down, I'm sure. He was obstructed in doing there, Ben Taylor, I'm sure, and that's the reason why he's gone up. But I reckon he gets it down. Yeah, he's got fingertip control, that's all you need.
Is it a fairy tale end for Steve Menzies?
Well, you don't need a sledgehammer to score the try. He loses it there, but he gets it back with his fingertip, and that is a try, my friends. Oh boy, the nerves will start jangling.
If he loses possession of that, he's got to get back. He's got to get possession back of it. If there's separation, he's got to have his hand back on it.
And
I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
Well, I think he does.
I think he gets a fingertip on it, but he doesn't take possession of it.
He does. He doesn't. He does. He doesn't.
Who would be a video referee?
Well, I think this will be given.
Well, it's Ian Smith. Ian Smith who will give the decision. 22 days to go. It's disallowed. Bow, Steve-O. Bow to the honour and the knowledge.
You mean to Stuart Cummins?
Correct.
I would never bow to a referee when he was a referee, and I'm certainly not about to change my mind and do it now. I think this was a try.
Well, it's not a try. Ian Smith's decided that. Can I just say, and I've got a great deal of time and respect for Ian Smith, what a killjoy Ian Smith is, because that would have been the glorious end to a glorious career.
Well, one thing I do know, Eddie, it's taken 78 minutes for the Catalan Dragons to straighten up and go up the line. It took the quality and experience of Steve Menzies to do it, and maybe if they'd done a little bit more of that with all the ball and all the field position they've had, they could have looked like they're actually going to threaten the Hull FC line and cause them more problems.
Interestingly, when Ian Smith was deliberating on that decision, Thomas Bosk was lining the conversion up. The belief in the red and white jerseys was that that was a try.
Yeah, I'm with you, Eddie. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Ian Smith has got it wrong. But it's what's happened on the scoreboard that counts.
Drop goal attempt from Daniel Holdsworth just to rub salt in the wound. Misses.
Not a bad option. Would have brought a smile on my face. And I think the Catalan realised that it wasn't far off, was it?
Well, Hull FC, Mike, have defended their own try line for virtually all of this game. I'm sure they're confident now they can defend from 30 metres out going backwards.
Yes, 1 minute remaining, 60 seconds. The end for Steve Menzies. The end of Remy Casti in the Super League. He's off to the NRL. And Hull look like they're going to march on.
They certainly do, and they fully deserve it, Eddie. You look at the actual tackles they've had to do. 368 from the black and whites tonight against 262 from the Dragons. And that shows you how strong the black and whites defence has been this season, but especially tonight. Old Faithful. And he'll enjoy it, Peter Gentle.
Absolutely, and what's more, they're not slacking off towards the end of the 80th minute. I was going to say, with all those tackles, 370 or thereabouts, Huddersfield must be rubbing their hands, because they must be out on their feet tonight. And if Hull do play Huddersfield, as I say, the Giants, the league leaders, will be delighted that they've been put through the mangle here.
Yeah, but they've also shown that they're very fit.
Zepter gets the ball away to Brent Webb. There's the full-time siren. There's the boot of Shaw again. He and Crooks celebrate a famous win, a gutsy win, a win that's been ground out in pouring rain, and the end of Steve Menzies' long career. It doesn't have the happy ending that so many people hoped and dreamt of, but you have to take your hat off to this Hull defence. Apart from once when Menzies breached them there towards the end of the game, they were solid as rocks.
Well, if the weather